Hey everyone, I'm Nate.
And I'm Abby.
This little guy is Popeye, and we are the RC Sailors. It's crazy that July is already over, but because it is over, that means it's time for our favorites of July video. When we do these favorite videos at the end of the month, the one rule has to be that we had our hands on the vehicle on the channel in the month of July. It's been a good month for RC stuff.
It has. It was really hard to narrow it down. We narrowed it down to a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
That's a lot.
But then we still had probably at least 5 other vehicles that we were like, oh, I want that on there, but
we've got some honorable mentions.
A lot of honorable mentions today.
And then we're going to narrow it down for you guys to let you know what our favorite vehicles were. So in case you missed some of our episodes earlier this month, this will help save you a little bit of time, and you can then just check out those videos that are on our favorites.
We base this a lot on fun factor,
right?
Uniqueness. It's not all about performance with us.
No,
it's about how fun it was.
Something that is $13 could be more fun and make it higher on our list than something that's $1,000.
Yeah, it's not just based on price or performance. It's just fun.
How much did we enjoy it? Kind of like your bang for your buck.
There is a little arrow. If you look at this, if you watch our videos on your phone, there's a little arrow right down below the video. It's super small. Click that and that'll have all sorts of links in there of the products to take you to the product page of our videos so you can watch our videos of whatever products. So
sometimes we work just as hard on the description box as we do on the video.
And YouTube loves to hide that description box from you guys.
There's a lot of good stuff down there.
Little arrow.
Yes.
So are we starting with our honorable mentions?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Well, you can read the first one.
No, I'll let you read that one.
Okay. Now, I really wanted this to probably be my number one, but it has been for so long now. Abby said, nope, no more, let's move on.
Put my foot down.
But I did officially fly it this month, and so I was allowed to put it in the honorable mention.
You flew it in one video, again.
Walkera Furious 215. If you are looking for a top-of-the-line race drone and don't have one that is just super amazing yet, but you feel like your skill level is there or almost there, then by all means, I can wholeheartedly say, even to this day, the Walkera Furious 215 is still probably officially my favorite thing I fly. But for the sake of not being super boring and repetitive, it's at the bottom of the list this month, but it's still on the list.
Another honorable mention that we had was the new Axial Yeti Jr. We weren't sure what to think of this right out of the box. We did an unboxing for our patrons, so go check out our Patreon page if you're interested in that.
Again, in the description box.
And we weren't very sure about it, but then when we drove it, we loved it. We love Axial products, and this in a mini little scale was just so fun.
The next thing on the list, and it's an honorable mention, is for all of you budget RC people out there, which we are too. I love finding a good deal. The Eachine E012 is a micro little nano drone. It's actually the world's smallest tiny whoop style of indoor drones, and it comes in under about $15. Again, linked down below for you.
We also really had a great time out on the construction field with our log grabber and our dump truck last month.
Those were cool.
The construction vehicles, something about them just makes you feel like a kid again.
It really does. Especially, wasn't it cool with the full-scale ones behind us?
Oh, it was so neat.
Our video work was a little bit shoddy in that video.
I was heavy on allergy medicine, and I was struggling bad that day.
But nothing beats that awesome. They call it a lall grabber. It can pick up dirt, it can pick up Popeye's toys.
Oh, and then being able to transfer that into the dump truck, that was just so good.
A vehicle like that log grabber, I would price it like $150 just because it's doing so much.
Isn't it like really, really cheap? Like
super cheap.
30 to 50 bucks.
The dump truck is, but the log grabber is like a little bit more.
Is it? Most of those construction vehicles, and we forgot to mention actually in the video is that dump truck has the lights on the front and tail lights on the back. It's really cool.
The last thing on our list that's an honorable mention
and really, you could probably place that this is number 6 on our list.
Because it's really awesome, but we just struggled to pick a top 5 because we're trying to shoot for 5 here. The MJX B2C, which is the Bugs 2 camera version only. Some people watching wondered, does it have FPV or why doesn't it have FPV? There is an FPV version, but if you want to save like 40 bucks or so, this comes in at about $190, $195.
And we will have that Wi-Fi version on the channel soon.
Yeah.
It's called, the one we had just a couple days ago was the B2C, and the Wi-Fi version is called the B2W.
Naming convention's a little crazy.
That one makes sense though. It's the Bugs.
Yeah.
So you got the B2C camera and you got the B2W Wi-Fi.
The reason I like that drone is because it comes in officially under $200, has a GPS, is a brushless motor setup with independent ESCs with a 1080p camera. Arguably about a 720p quality, but they do they advertise it as 1080p. Not the best 1080p camera I've ever seen, but it's actually an amazing drone. It has telemetry on the transmitter to let you know how far away, how high up it is.
So that's only our number 6. So let's actually move on finally to our top 5. So for number 5, we chose the Falcon 210. This was a fully ready to run race drone that was so beginner friendly. I mean, it was just so nice to finally have a race drone that worked and that I could fly. Now, I say ready to run or ready to fly, but it does not come with goggles.
Right.
So just beware of that. You will have to buy your own set of goggles, or as long as you have some type of goggle setup with 5.8 gigahertz, it'll work with that. This was just so easy. It had different modes. Nate could put it in his acro mode and do flips. It had the horizon mode and it had beginner mode. I did flips with this drone. It was so cool. I'd never done FPV flips before with goggles.
Without like an auto flip button.
It was just full stick over.
Yeah, so 3 different flight modes and they're all pre-programmed. That's the beautiful thing about where the hobby's heading now. We're starting to see more and more drones come out to the market that are, you turn it on and you fly, and they're actually built really well, super tough, super durable, just good functionality. You know, let's face it, today in today's society, it's a super busy world. We don't all have time to sit down and build drones. For those of you that can, that's amazing, and I envy you that you have the ability and time to do that. But we don't really have the time or ability to pull that off.
It takes a lot of skill to build your own.
It really does. To the guys that are doing it, they probably say it's pretty easy. But for someone like us and thousands of people out there that are into the hobby, we just can't pull it off. So we love these simple, ready-to-fly things that actually work. So Abby's favorite race drone for the month is going to be linked in the description box below.
It was just a huge step for me.
It takes a lot of headache out of the hobby.
All right, so number 4 is...
Okay, I chose this one, but we both kind of agreed.
We agreed on this whole list.
The RC motorcycle that we had at the very beginning of the month, amazing. We got a big kick out of that.
What's the name of it?
A lot of you guys got a kick out of that too.
ZD Racing 05222.
Hard name to remember, kind of. So again, linked down below. All the good stuff is down there for you guys. Took us a while to figure out. I hate to even admit this. I felt like I knew this, but I forgot when we were out driving it that it has a not a gyroscope, but what is the thing?
You called it a gyro.
Maybe it is a gyro. Yeah, it's like a, you know, it's a weight.
Sounds like it's gonna blow up.
It spins super fast to help keep it stabilized, and you have to have that turned on before the motorcycle will go. And we also realized that it doesn't do very well in grass at all.
We need to take it to a dirt track. Like, I want to ramp that thing. I mean, it was so fun. Such a different experience than your usual RC truck or car. Like, it's just a whole other ball game, and it just puts such big smiles on our faces. Like,
to the RC lover in your family, which is probably you because you're watching our video, this needs to be on your Christmas list or someone else's Christmas list because it's so unique and just a blast.
Number 3, we chose the HBX 12889.
Pretty cool.
This was the, I believe it was yellow.
The yellow truck.
The yellow truck with the awesome lights. It's 4-wheel drive. We took it out in the construction zone, and it had the
transmission.
The transmission.
That's what makes it so unique.
So cool.
Low and high gear. And the cool thing is about that, you can hit the button on your transmitter and it switches on the fly.
For you.
You don't have to stop the truck. You don't have to turn it off. You don't have to do anything. Like, we've seen $1,000 truck come before that doesn't have this feature.
Or that you have to go into the ESC and do 5 billion things to get it to do what it's advertised to do. And
this comes in at a fraction of the price. Now,
it's not even over $100.
Is it going to be like Axial quality? Absolutely not. But it's cheaper than that. It's competitive on pricing. It comes with extra bells and whistles that all Axial vehicles do not come with. So, you know, for the budget shopper out there, this gets the job done. And as long as you are intentionally driving it into cement walls, it should hold up okay for casual, fun driving. A little bit of crawling, a little bit of street driving, a little bit of peeling out in the driveway and the gravel. A lot of fun. The next vehicle comes in at a very, very solid, competitive ranking number 2. It is the DJI Spark.
I think that was on our list last month too, wasn't it?
It's possible. Yeah, it's possible. I was so doubtful when I got my hands on the Spark and all of the stupid waste of time hand gesture things. You know, I guess it's neat and it's a cool gimmick to help sell the drone.
I still don't understand why it wouldn't film the entire time it's in that.
As it turns out, you can turn the video on and then enter hand gesture mode and it will film. But you have to turn video on first.
No, we tried that, I thought.
Someone said, as a follow-up, I've seen some comments.
Well, we don't know that for sure.
Regardless, forget all of the hand gesture.
You should be able to turn it on while it's in hand gesture mode. Anyway.
Forget all of those extra bells and whistles on the Spark.
We like it.
If you said, hey Nathan, would you rather have a Phantom that's like $500 or $600 or the Spark that's like $500 or $600, I'd take the Spark every single time over that.
It's the size.
It's all, yeah.
Although I still wish it had that third axis.
I do too, and 4K would be nice. What would be really nice on it is a longer flight time, because 10 minutes just ain't enough, because that's 5 minutes up and out.
That's why you have
5 minutes
3
back.
batteries.
I had to pick up the extra batteries. Now, there is a catch to the Spark, which is why it's not number 1. If you want to have the same experience that I have with mine, you have to have that transmitter. If you're flying it from your phone, I would never fly it at all. You really need that transmitter. It's going to up the price a good bit, but it really makes it worth it. I like that it is small enough that honestly, if it fell pretty high and hit me, it would not hurt me nearly as bad as a Mavic or a Phantom or especially the Inspire.
It's so nice to have a good camera drone that's going to have high quality footage that is just so portable and so small. Yeah, the Mavic is that too.
The Mavic is
and we
better.
love our Mavic, but it still hits that upper price range where it's kind of like
$1,000.
But when you're down to around $500 range for just the drone,
it's not as bad.
It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice.
This just the hugest part of this.
The hugest.
The biggest, whatever. Is the fact that it doesn't weigh a ton in the air. That's the big thing. I mean, we flew it around little cousins of ours that are super young, and
they're our nieces.
Sorry. Really easy to fly. Even the 5-year-old little niece was able to fly it with my supervision. Just a solid drone. I mean,
Although I guess you said people have had issues since the latest update, which we have avoided.
I don't have the newest firmware because of the warnings.
We hate DJI for their firmware updates.
That is the worst part about them. You get these mandatory updates, and then you never know if it's going to be a good thing or a bad thing. My Spark is flying.
We haven't had to do it yet.
It hasn't asked me to yet either, but my Spark's been flying really well, knock on wood. I've probably got about 20 to 30 flights on it now. Every flight is very successful. I feel safe flying it. Just a really good drone. So if you've been on the fence about the Spark,
we'll have some of our videos linked below so you can check those out as well as the product link. So there's number 2.
Yeah, and number one, we both agreed on very confidently.
Was the Hubsan H301S GPS plane.
We love RC planes. And for the longest time, one of the biggest hurdles for anybody getting into RC planes is the fear of learning how to fly them, because
and crashing and losing your whole drone or your whole plane.
It's easy to crash most RC airplanes, and when you do crash them, it demolishes them
most of the time.
If you crash a drone with like auto landing and stuff, the worst thing that might happen is a prop goes down into the grass.
You might break an arm.
Okay, so
It's really nothing bad, but like planes. And I'm gonna give a shout out to one of our patrons, Dan. Dan is such an awesome person. He donates monthly on our Patreon, and he bought the Zazzy from our recommendation.
Yeah.
Just recently, he demolished.
Just destroyed it.
Demolished his Zazzy. I don't think I've ever seen a plane in so many pieces ever. Dan is such an awesome person, and he is a good pilot, but accidents happen.
Yeah.
And especially when you're a newcomer, accidents happen. So that's why we love this Hubsan H301S, because this thing can fly itself.
It does
and
fly
if you
itself.
panic, there's a switch and the plane will make its way back.
That's because this plane has a GPS built in. We haven't had really any planes on our channel with a GPS. Not only does it have a GPS, it has a built-in true 1080p camera on the nose of the plane that looks great, wide-angle lens, and that gives you the same immersive wide-angle 1080p experience, although your goggles are not 1080p. It still looks really cool being wide-angle as opposed to all these little fisheye race drones. You have 5.8 gigahertz transmission signal, which is really long range because of the built-in patch antenna on the transmitter. You have the view on your transmitter. You can also wear your goggles. It just works so well. It also has built-in LEDs on the bottom of the wings. They're so bright and they look really good. The thing about our channel, what we try to do for the hobby is introduce people into the hobby, telling you, showing you firsthand, hey, it's not as hard as it looks. And this plane really defines that for RC planes, truly defines it. I believe that really anybody with a basic understanding of how airplanes fly could get this in the air, learn orientation, getting a feel for how planes react in the air, long flight time of 20+ minutes on a single 1300 milliamp 2-cell LiPo battery. Crazy impressive airplane.
And if you start to panic, or if the plane you feel like starts getting too far away from you,
throw that switch.
Flip a switch and it'll make its way back to you.
Yep.
We thought in the video we did that it was so far away, we were like, there's no way it's coming back.
I could still see it barely, but
It came back.
it came back.
I couldn't believe it.
I set the transmitter down, I think, and I just let it fly back. And those lights just look so good. You can even see them in the daylight. But at night or in the evening time, they're just beautifully bright LED strips that are built into the plane. Also, the prop is mounted up on the back rear, so that helps protect it.
Yeah, it'll not only
an awesome
protect your
setup.
prop, but it's going to protect your motor. So if you crash, it's just going to be the foam of the nose that takes the hit and not the prop that's mounted up in the back, which is super
It's just a
nice.
really good setup. I highly recommend it for those of you guys that have been like, you know, I want an airplane. I'd love to enjoy that aspect of the hobby, but I'm just afraid to. Also, I don't know anybody that can help me learn how to fly. This is the best thing that I've seen personally. It is the best plane that I've flown that would help a newer pilot learn to fly. Or maybe you're getting a little bit older. Older guys that fly planes, they tend to stop flying as much because they worry about like, oh, I just can't see as well as I used to be able to. I lose orientation. That prevents a lot of older people from flying as you lose your eyesight in older age. This plane, you would not have to worry about that, because if you do lose your orientation, take your hands off the controls, throw that switch, it comes right back.
And as tradition, Popeye's favorite toy of the month. What you got, buddy? This one.
The Olympic rings.
Oh,
Nice.
I got him.
Good job, buddy. There you have it. Those are our favorites. We had a lot this month. This is probably a longer video than most of our highlight videos because we had so many favorites.
And we were even talking like throughout the month, like we have barely had any like duds, as we call them,
Like
this
major
month.
duds.
And I mean, that's true. I can only think of maybe a couple that we pretty much told you all not to buy.
It's been a good month.
Other than that, we've really enjoyed every single RC we've had on the channel.
Yeah, to some degree.
To some degree, yeah.
We're all about the hobby, trying to get people interested in the hobby and having fun. It's a really good hobby. RC drones, RC trucks, now RC planes. Easier and cheaper and better to fly than ever.
And if you're new to our channel, be sure to hit subscribe and click that notification bell. So double sub, so you can keep having RC fun with us and keep finding some new awesome hidden gem RCs to have fun with.
Thanks a lot for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video.
Bye!